Hello, all. I have a big request for you, slash, an invitation to get involved in Prayercasts without having to record a video or spend more than a minute of your time. And what that request is to send me just one photo or two, really quickly, of a space or an object in your home that you use for prayer. For me, obviously, I have this altar back here. And I have been really struggling to sleep and to stay asleep in the past few weeks. And so last night, I decided that instead of tossing and turning and inevitably waking up my wife by accident, I would slip out of bed and make my way through the dark hallway to my altar, where I would kneel and light a candle and reach out to the divine in my midst. And there is something so mystical about doing that in the dark stillness of night, when no one else is awake, not even my cats, to bother me. And I think it would be really cool for our fellow members of Grace to be able to see what some of those things and places are for us, especially in this time when we are, for the most part, unable to meet and gather in person to pray. It might be cool for various members to be able to see what is holy to you in your own home in this time when we are sort of confined to our own homes. So send me a photo, and it might be something like a fancy altar, or it might just be your favorite Bible and a candle you use, or a cross, or a bookshelf with devotionals and journals. It might be a shelf of family photos that you look at when you pray a lot, or maybe you pray best at your kitchen when you're doing the dishes, so send a photo of that. Whatever it is, wherever it is in your home, I would love if you would just take a second to send me a photo, maybe a few sentences explaining why, what you do in the space, or what's holy about the object or whatnot, would be awesome. And if you want to make it a little video, that's great too. I'm not saying no to videos where you give us almost like a little tour of your sacred space, but again, this is so if you've wanted to get involved in Prayercasts, but the idea of a video is just too daunting, here's an opportunity for you to connect to members of Grace in this special way where we gather to reflect and pray together in the evenings. And so the last thing I'm going to do here is read a passage about altars from Barbara Brown Taylor's An Altar in the World. This is a really beautiful text where Taylor talks about, obviously, how altars in the world, right, that every inch of this planet, every inch of creation is bursting with divinity. That we don't only find the sacred in our churches, but also in our own homes. And not only in our own homes, but also out in nature, in a forest that is lush and green, or a forest that has been razed to the ground by human greed. God is as present in churches as she is in a mosque or a temple, and also just as present in a parking lot or the street, places we wouldn't expect to encounter the divine. And even though God is indeed everywhere, it is such a human thing to set up spaces like an altar, where we can better attune ourselves to be present to the divine that is already present everywhere. And so she talks a lot about the altars that are built throughout the Bible, right? Including the one built by Jacob after he lays down in the wilderness. He has a dream that he sees angels ascending and descending a ladder or a staircase. And when he wakes up, he takes the rock that he was using as a pillow and he sets it up as an altar to say, look, I encountered God in this nowhere space. And so, yeah, that's where this passage comes in. I can set a little altar in the world or in my heart. I can stop what I am doing long enough to see where I am, who I am there with, and how awesome the place is. I can flag one more gate to heaven, one more patch of ordinary earth with ladder marks on it, where the divine traffic is heavy when I notice it, and even when I do not. I can see it for once, instead of walking right past it, maybe even setting a stone or saying a blessing before I move on to wherever I am due next. Human beings may separate things into as many piles as we wish, separating spirit from flesh, sacred from secular, church from world. But we should not be surprised when God does not recognize the distinctions we make between the two. Earth is so thick with divine possibility that it is a wonder we can walk anywhere without cracking our shins on altars. Jacob's nowhere, about which he knew nothing, turned out to be the house of God. Even though his family had imploded, even though he had made his brother angry enough to kill him, even though he was a scoundrel from the word go, God decided to visit Jacob right where he was. Though Jacob had not been right about anything so far and never would be, God gave Jacob vision, so Jacob could see the angels going up and down from earth to heaven, going about their business in the one and only world there is. Good night, everyone. And yeah, send me your photos if you can, anytime from now to, let's say, this coming Monday, so that we can see what is sacred, what we have done in our homes to mark the sacredness in our midst. Good night.